Hi, Quinbus with the Freeplane user community. Um, I'm going to make a video today. I hopefully won't make it long, but I just wanted to demonstrate to you a new capability that I have discovered. It's actually a standalone program that's used for research on the internet. And I find it to be a wonderful tool, and I was looking for ways to incorporate it into Freeplane, coming up with the best of both worlds. So the purpose of the video is to show you how I do that, and mainly to get it out there for ideas, because I'm always looking for best practices in how best to use Freeplane for common tasks that most of us are doing all the time. I just recently was introduced to a piece of software that runs in conjunction with cross-platform web browsers. It's called Zotero, Z-O-T-E-R-O. You can find it on the web. It's free source. It's open source software. It's a standalone program, but it appears in your browser, so it's sort of like an add-on or an extension. I have used it successfully with Firefox, and it's my understanding that it runs in other platforms as well. Zotero is a research tool, which is one of the primary purposes and the things I use Freeplane for. And it lets you capture information about a web page, sort of like a geek's version of Pinterest. I won't go into a lot of detail about how it works. You can do that research on your own. But let me give you an example. If I open my browser, and let's say I'm doing some work for camping. I've been thinking about going camping, and I'm going to need to upgrade some of my equipment. So I go over to Trusted eBay, and I say, I'm looking for a sleeping bag. Of course, we all know how eBay works, and I'll just pick one. I'm not necessarily interested in any of these, but for purposes of illustration, let's just say that I find something here, this one right here. Click on it, it opens up, and this is the relevant information about that sleeping bag. Now, what I've always wanted to be able to do is to capture all the information that I know about this website. This web page represents a static snapshot of information. It's also dynamic. And when you're doing research, you want both of those. You want to be able to go back to the place you originally went to. But if that page scrolls off or goes away, you still want to be able to find the information that was contained there. And I have kind of worked around over the years looking for ways to capture those pages, and then you end up with them in different places. Zotero is built for this. I'll give you a quick demonstration. This little Z up here shows my add-on in the Mozilla Firefox browser. When I click that Z, I get a special window open, and you see I have a library with a series of collections in it. I have one created called Camping, and when I can actually capture pages, and underneath this camping ideas, this camping collection. So I'll just go over here and do that. I come back up here to the top of the page, and I click Save Zotero using embedded metadata. You see it down here. It's being saved. It shows up here on in my collection, and it also takes a snapshot of the web page itself. So it's a static HTML capture. It's no longer online, but the one above it is the actual web page. What's really nice is that over here in this window, we've captured all the metadata about that information that was available in the HTML lookup. We know that it was a web page. We have a title. If there had been an author designated, it would have been captured. We have an abstract. We have the website title. We have the actual URL back to the location, and when I accessed it, language, rights, etc. Date added, the date I actually captured it, and the dates it's been modified. So you could go back, ostensibly go back several times over a period of several months, and that metadata would be updated to reflect the changes that had occurred. You also have a nifty little notes browser, and you can use tags. So this gives you the ability to create what would be a bibliography if you were doing a research paper. I'm using it for much less noble purposes. It's just basically a list of places I've been and want to consider. Now, the part that was intriguing to me is I have all this information that I've traditionally tried to capture in Freeplane. And I first thought, well, maybe this has supplanted my use of Freeplane for this. Primary use of Freeplane would be for researching the web. But there is a piece, when you think about it, that's missing. This information in here is just data. It's just a list in alphabetical order of the information that I've collected off the web, but it doesn't help me make any sense. Like I have, a Coleman sleeping bag right next to a camping awning, right next to a sleeping pad, and those things may or may not be related to each other, and I might want to sort them. I might want to arrange them so that I had them in groups, and maybe even sort them in terms of first, second, and third choice. Maybe look at it by price. There's all kinds of things I might want to do that Freeplane excels in that really Zotero does not. So my question was, how do I actually make the two work together? And I'm not saying this is the best answer, but it's what I've come up with so far. Let me go back up here and you'll see the little web page, this little camping gear map that I've created. And say I want to make a link between Freeplane and Zotero, the Zotero entry in the database. And then once I have it in the map, I could move it around, do whatever I want to with it, but by a simple click, go back and find all of the metadata, the actual URL, the link, the whole bit that I have captured using Zotero. So one click gets all the information that used to take me many, many clicks to get. Now what I have to do is figure out how do I link Zotero data into Freeplane. So here's how I go about it. If you go over here and look at this location, the Coleman Cold Weather Camping Sleeping Bag, I want to know where it is in the Zotero database, not where it is on the web. So I found out that you can right click and you can come up here and say generate a report from the item. When I do that, it basically captures a lot of the metadata, puts it up there in a form that is capturable in Freeplane. Mainly, if you look, when I highlight this location, you see down here, look down at this place when I do it, you see there is a URL created, Zotero select items and an item number that's unique to this location. I could do several things here. I can come back over to Freeplane, create a new child, and say, Coleman sleeping bag. I can type the name manual if I want to. And then I can open a internal link, go back over to this location here, highlight this item and say copy link location, come back and paste it in. Now I have created a link back to the Zotero item. Let me try that with another entry in my list at Zotero. I'll come back down here and let's just take this a two-person sleeping bag here. I do the same thing. I create a report which generates this special little report that could be printed or used, and it also, most importantly, gives me the item number. Now I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to first highlight this, right click, and save. I'm going to copy. Then I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy link location. Go back over here and I'm going to open Ditto, which is a little program I have that's open source. And I just drug it out. Ditto is basically takes up to an unlimited number of clipboard cuts and stores them in the order in which you captured them. So I just went up there and drug that down. That gave me the title I needed. And now I'm going to open Control K, and I get, if you look here, one of the features of Freeplane is that it automatically takes what's in the top part of the clipboard and puts it in a hyperlink location when you open Control K for a hyperlink. And I now have a link and a title with basically 2 exercises instead of all the pieces I have before. Now, I've got information here that I'm going to use in making decisions about sleeping bags. I could, for example, create another category. Sleeping bags. And I could take both of these and drag them into this category. So I've now begun to rearrange the information. If at some point I want to go back and look at the information that I pulled off of Zotero, it's a simple matter of clicking on the link I created. It opens up my browser and takes me to the location within Zotero. So now I can look and see where I got this information, and most importantly, I can double click on that and it opens the original web page. Or I can click on the snapshot and it opens, as you see up here, an attachment, which is not an active web page. It is a snapshot of what that web page was. So I have 2 important pieces of information, plus all the information about how I found it, plus any notes I might have made while I was doing my research over here. So it's a wonderful tool for making use of Freeplane's great strengths of moving and arranging, and using Zotero to do all the legwork of capturing information live off the web. So I found it to be a great addition. I'm still playing around with it. I want to make sure that Zotero's links stay stable, that we don't get them munged up in some way or lost or jumbled, that my data doesn't get misdirected or lost because of some upgrade or change to Zotero. But it looks like this solves 2 problems for me that I've been looking for solutions for a long time. I don't know if it'll help you guys or not, but that's what I'm using it for, and I thought maybe you might find it useful. Okay, thank you very much. We'll see you out on the web.